Welcome to the RavensSpace on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is RavensSpace Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll hop right into the news. I would like to say that this episode is brought to you guys by the RavensSpace Patreon. Please check it out. A lot of great things, a lot of great deals, and we'll hop right in. The first story of the day talks about the priority for Steve Biscotti, and he believes that we need an offensive lineman and not another receiver. As you guys know, there's been a lot of stories swirling around about the Ravens signing Eric Decker, who was recently released by the Jets. But this story says that Steve Biscotti wants an offensive lineman and not another receiver. The quote I'll read you guys is, "If I don't get an offensive lineman, somebody's going to start shooting at me. If I have one bullet left in that gun, I better save it for an offensive lineman." So again, we see that offensive line is what Steve Biscotti wants, and he's right. It would be nice to add Eric Decker. He's a very talented player. It would make our receiving core super powerful. Offensive line is a struggle right now with James Hurst and Ryan Jensen. And if we can get a player at either center or right tackle to help stabilize that line, I would feel more confident in our offense as a whole. Now, Joe Flaccos still gonna have to have a good year, but if you get an offensive line and hopefully a run game started, a lot of good things can come from that. So I agree with Steve Biscotti that if we could get an offensive lineman, I'd rather take him than Eric Decker. But if Eric Decker is the only one out there and we have the cap space, I would say do it. You know, if we can't get offensive lineman, go get Eric Decker. But priority number one is offensive line, and that has to be addressed a little bit before going into the regular season. You can get a player like a Nick Mangold if he still wants to play, or a King Dunlap or something like that at right tackle to help out the offensive line. Or if you think there's a guard that's out there, you get a guard and you kick Yanda out to right tackle. So it just matters how you want to play it. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think that we should go get Decker, or do you want an offensive lineman like Steve Biscotti? And the second story of the day also deals with offensive line for the Ravens, and it's about Marshall Yanda. And he said that he will be ready by week 1. He expects to be ready by week 1. He had his interview today, and he wouldn't say if he would be back by training camp, but he gave an assurance for the regular season, and I'll read you guys the quote. "I can just tell you week 1, I'm going to be out there for sure. It feels really good. I haven't had any setbacks. It's been a smooth process." Yanda, as you guys know, was injured last season on his left shoulder, and amazingly, he only missed 3 games. He played the full season. Was one of the best players in the league, was rated by Pro Football Focus as the best offensive lineman in the league. So, I mean, this guy is special. In my mind, he's a Hall of Famer. Hopefully he's back. I think he will be back week 1, ready to go. He's 32 years old, so he only has a couple of seasons left in him maybe. So we'll see how he feels from here. But again, he said that he'll be ready week 1 for the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens really do need him on the offensive line, that no one on the line has played more than 16 games. So it's super scary when you know that there's no offensive lineman other than Marshall Yanda who started more than 16 games. And the last article of the day is from the Bleacher Report, and it talks about every single quarterback's NFL cast. So it ranks every supporting cast for a quarterback in the NFL. Supporting cast is offensive line, wide receivers, running backs, everything. They don't take into account offensive coordinators, but everything else they take into account. And the Baltimore Ravens and Joe Flacco are ranked number 28th in the league. So this could be low. I'll read you guys some of the reasons, and I'll read you who's above us so you guys can make your own explanation. So a lot of the reasons they stated was because of the unproven nature of the team and how much people we lost. So we lost Steve Smith, Kyle Juszczyk, we lost, Jeremy Zutai, Ricky Wagner, all these players. And really on offense, we've only added Danny Woodhead and we added Jeremy Maclin. So everyone else is still, just the same people we had last year. And last year we were ranked very low. And last year we were ranked 21st in offense. And I'll read you guys what the Bleacher Report says. With Smith, Juszczyk, and Pitta, this was an offense ranked 21st in the league in scoring last season. Even with Maclin on the board, Flacco will need to play lights out in order to prevent the Ravens from dropping in that category in 2017. So they're not really pumped up or jazzed about our running backs, who in my opinion is an average crew of running backs. They're not jazzed about our receivers, who in my opinion are above average, but they're not great. They're not a top 10 receiving core in the NFL, I don't think. And then they're not jazzed about our offensive line, who has one great player, two, players with great potential, and then two question marks, or our tight end group, who to me are, filled with a bunch of below average players that, wouldn't start for other teams. So it's hard to say I disagree, but I'll read you some of the other teams in front of us. And a lot of these teams have one great player at a position in which why they are above us. So you got the Bills and Tyrod Taylor. You have to remember they have McCoy, who's a great running back. Now this one's a little weird. Mike Glennon and the Chicago Bears. Now they do have a good running back who broke out his rookie season, but rookie running backs do that. I don't know if I would say they're better than the Ravens, but they do have Jordan Howard. Matthew Stafford is another hard one. They have Golden Tate, but that's a hard one. The Tennessee Titans, hard one again. I don't know. The Minnesota Vikings, and then I'll stop at the Russell Wilson and Seattle Seahawks. The Ravens are ranked number 28th. Let me know how you guys feel about that. If our supporting cast is that bad, I don't think so. I think there's a couple teams I would have put us above, simply because of Jeremy Maclin and Mike Wallace and Brashard Perriman are going to be good this season, but we'll see. And like we do on RavensSpace Daily every single day, we do a mailbag question, and this question comes from Gio, and Gio asks, does Maclin's signing hinder Brashard Perriman's breakout ability? Thank you so much, Gio. It's a great question, and I would say yes and no. And just stick with me now. First, I would say no, because Brashard's still going to be on the field. I don't think that Wallace and Maclin will be the 1 and 2. Whoever is going to be out of either Maclin or Wallace, one of them is going to be in the slot. By the looks of it, to me, it looks like Mike Wallace will be in the slot and Maclin will be on the outside, but a lot of you guys think it's going to be the opposite. It's fine for this question. But Brashard Perriman will definitely be either the 2 or the 1 receiver. He will not be the slot receiver, so he will get reps out there. Now, the reason I say yes is because when you add Maclin, who at this point in his career, if he's healthy, is a better receiver than Perriman and Wallace, he'll get ball. You have to throw the ball to him, right? And if you throw the ball to him, that's one ball that you can't throw to Perriman, right? That's just how, life works. So he will be hindered in the fact that he won't be getting as much balls thrown his way, because if it was just him and Wallace, I would say that Perriman would get the most passes his way. But because he isn't now, I don't think he'll be the number 1 guy. I think Maclin will get the most pass attempts his way. So we'll see. I don't think so. To give you a firm answer, I would say no. Perriman will still have the ability to break out if he performs at that level. He's young, he's fast, he's big, he's tall. Now he's just to put it all together. And I think that if anything, he just won't get as much balls thrown his way, but he'll still have all the opportunity in the world to try to perform for the Baltimore Ravens. And that's the show for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on our different social media channels, and look at our Patreon. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.